Today's video is incredibly important. I'm going to walk you through some really important signs that you need to be aware of that your relationship could potentially become physically abusive. The statistics for intimate partner violence are through the roof. It's between 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 women will experience some level of intimate partner violence in their relationship. This is a video that I truly believe all women need to see. So if you're watching this and you want to share it with another sister, a girlfriend of yours, somebody who you know will benefit from this information, I ask that you please do. If you don't know me, my name is Kristin. I'm a life and relationship coach and a clinical hypnotherapist. I specialize in helping women heal from toxic relationships so that they can love themselves and create healthy and happy love in their life. And that's really what this channel is all about. So please subscribe and get that notification so you can be notified when I bring you new content every week. So I'm going to walk you through 16 different signs that you need to be aware of that the person that you are in a relationship with or a person that you know could potentially become physically violent. If you are somebody who is in a relationship that is physically abusive, I'm going to link some different links for you that you can get help, contact. There's shelters, domestic violence hotlines. I will link them below in this video for you. So one is that they are verbally abusive. They are yelling at you. They are calling you names. These names can start off for something you might consider small, and then they get, just really aggressive and mean. That is a huge warning sign, red flag. 1, nobody deserves emotional abuse in any way, but 2, verbal abuse, verbal assaults definitely is a warning sign. 2, if they have a history of aggression, if this is somebody who maybe gets in a lot of bar fights, has a history of being arrested for violent things, these are all really, really serious. 3, if they have an inability to regulate their emotions. You could be having a seemingly simple conversation about something and then you don't know what it is, but all of a sudden they just blow up and go into a huge rage. That could be yelling, that could be storming off, that could be a whole number of things. If they have this inability to regulate emotions and their reactions are out of proportion to the situation at hand, that is definitely a sign. Another sign is that they use intimidation, right? So they might try to tower over you for some reason, or maybe put themselves between you and a doorway if maybe you got in an altercation and you're trying to leave, but they try to intimidate you in multiple ways. They could try to intimidate you through using threatening you. That's intimidation. They could try to throw something, right? Like maybe they break some of your things and say, oh, next that's going to be you. That is violence. That is violence. If they cannot regulate their emotions enough to not destroy things, to hurt things, they will eventually hurt people. And that was really my next sign, is throwing things, breaking things. Those are definitely some warning signs that is eventually could potentially become throwing and breaking things aimed at you. Another thing I do want to mention versus the intimidation is if they're doing something like, holding you up against the wall, saying something like, you're lucky that I'm not going to hit you or something like that. That in itself right there, that is physical abuse, right? Like them holding you, pressing you up against a wall. That is physical intimidation, physical abuse. Nobody should be touching you like that. Another sign is that they are very possessive, highly jealous. They might try to isolate you from other friends, family. It would be the kind of situation where like all of a sudden you're never allowed to talk to any of your guy friends ever again because it just like goes into this whole out of proportion thing. But even girlfriends and other people that are close to you, they're going to do things to try to just take you away from any other close relationships. So they're trying to isolate you. Another sign is if things start to move really, really quickly in this relationship. They say, I love you really quickly. They want to be exclusive, right? Like, again, that possessiveness, want to have you and make sure that you are theirs and only theirs. Maybe they want to move in together really quickly. And it can feel exciting, right? Because, the thing is like, these relationships, it's not like they're all bad or terrible. Like, even in abusive cycles, there's times of like really, really good things going on, especially in the beginning of a relationship when this kind of heightened oxytocin is flying and all different things happening. It can actually feel good and like, oh my gosh, I found this person, he's so great. But you have to look out for the other sign. That's why I really, really want you to be aware of these things, because the more that you know about this and the more that you're aware of it, the more you can prevent yourself from getting into a potentially really awful situation. Another sign would be that they never take any responsibility for anything and everything is somebody else's fault in their life. They base their reactions and say things like, that person made me do it, and they take no responsibility for themselves. Another sign is that they're incredibly distrustful, insecure. They might ask you to take a picture of where you are. Like, let's say that you're somewhere and they're texting you, oh, where are you? Very inquisitive. They want to know exactly where you are at all times. Again, that really possessiveness, but they want you to text them a picture of you with your friend. If you say that you're with a friend, or if you say that you're home and they're not there, they want you to take a picture of you being at home, and they want to prove that you are where you say you are, prove that you are doing what you say you're doing. They just really have this lack of trust, and this could be for absolutely no reason at all, right? Like, you want to just appease them in this situation and be like, of course, like, what are you talking about? I'm here. I would never cheat on you. I would never do this, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter, because they're so insecure inside that is just how it manifests. Another sign is if they talk about all of their past relationships, their past girlfriends, as being totally psychotic and crazy, and every girl that they've ever dated is super crazy. These people also just have to be in control all of the time. So that is definitely another sign that if you feel like you can't really do what you want to do in the relationship because they wouldn't approve of it, or you just, they want to control what you're wearing. They just want to control different aspects about your life, like who you can hang out with, what you're allowed to do, all of those things. Another sign is if there's substance abuse involved, if this person is a big binge drinker or is using other drugs and they have these other issues, they are much, much more likely to be physically abusive, especially when there's substances involved. I don't want to quote the statistics because I can't remember right now, but it's like 2 to 3 times higher likelihood of domestic violence occurring when there is substance abuse involved. Another thing you want to look out for is how they treat other people, how they talk about other people, right? If they're just mean and nasty to other people but seem to be really, really nice to you, you really want to question how long that is going to last for. People show you who they are all of the time. You are the one that has to believe it when they show you. Again, if this person is threatening you with violence of any kind, that is definitely a sign that you need to be aware of and take seriously. If you feel like in general this person does not respect women, talks badly about women, and has a really negative viewpoint of women, thinks that men are superior, and that is just their state of mind, you really want to look out for that. And lastly, if this person is paranoid, if they have this rhetoric, like they talk about people being after them, or if they feel like the whole world is against them and everybody is against them all of the time, and a lot of times these things won't even really make rational sense. So those are the signs that I really wanted to bring to your attention. And I also want to bring to your attention that abuse typically gets worse over time, and it doesn't necessarily start right away. That's why these signs are so important, okay? Because you could be in a relationship that you feel like is really, really good, but you see some of these warning signs. Perhaps you see a lot of these warning signs. Abuse oftentimes doesn't start until the abuser kind of knows that they have you, right? Like they know that you're in this relationship with them. So maybe it's you are in a relationship with this person and then all of a sudden you get married and boom, like they start physically hurting you. I know for me, I was in an abusive relationship in the past that definitely, looking back, has some of these warning signs, but I felt like it just came out of nowhere and I couldn't believe it. It was when we first moved in together. He had never touched me prior to that, but within 1 week of us moving in together, and I was in a situation where I felt very trapped in the way that everything happened, that is the first time. Now, of course, he was super apologetic, would never do it again, all of these sort of typical things that they say within that cycle of abuse. Of course, he did do it again and again and again, and he did it until the day that I decided to run out that door and never come back. I wish that I would have had this information many, many years ago. A lot of these signs were there. I didn't know these signs. I didn't know what it could possibly turn into. I wanted to believe that maybe I was the exception to the rule because I was so good at loving and I was such an amazing person. Unfortunately, that doesn't make a difference to people who are abusive, and that is just who they are. So again, I'm going to ask you to share this video. I want every woman to hear these things, to know these signs. I also have another video where I talk about emotional abuse red flags, because emotional abuse can be incredibly damaging as well. And if there's physical abuse, there's probably emotional abuse involved as well. So you can go check that out. I will link that up. As always, thank you so much for watching today. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and you can check out these other videos for more.